Okay, welcome everybody. My name is Louise Swartzwalter. I'm the owner of naturopathic doctor of Albuquerque Natural Health Center. So we're here in Albuquerque, New Mexico on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. I have a great group here. We just went around the room and shared why we're here today and what we want to learn about what gluten-free, Candida-free really means. I'm very excited to share this topic with you because this is kind of near and dear to my heart. I suffered with this a lot. And it kind of took me 26 years to get healthy. And so my whole path is really that. So again, what I do here at Albuquerque Natural Health Center is I'm a naturopathic doctor and a biofeedback therapist, and I combine lots of different modalities to get the results that we get with clients. And I absolutely love it. It's my passion. And so again, I'm so happy that you're here today. So we're going to get started. It's called Gluten-Free, Candida-Free. Take the Fall Challenge. So I guess I would ask you, do you want to feel like that first picture or that second picture? So the second picture is my VIP client who came from Kentucky. So we spent a day together just really working on a lot of things and using my brain signature program, which I'll explain to you. So it's a variety of techniques that I figured out that have morphed over the years to get her from here to here. So she was someone with ADD and a lot of allergies and wasn't sleeping, in an abusive relationship, and again, we took her from here to here. So I did ongoing coaching with her for about 3 months after that, and she's doing really well today. So it was just a gift to be able to work with her. So that was really fun. And then, you know, a lot of you see me right now and you're like, oh, she looks so nice in her purple and, you know, all that good stuff. Well, you guys, I was really sick. So that first picture of me, and I usually just show it, that's me, okay? So I usually say a picture says 1,000. What happened, though, and it took me a while to figure this out, was mercury attracts Candida. So heavy metals attract parasites, Candida, fungus. So we have to clean out the heavy metals. I didn't know that then, obviously, but it took me a long time. And so this is years of learning and working, you know, and working on this. So that's how I got here, was I had to heal myself. So I ended up in a sauna program, sweating all that mercury out and those chemicals out of my body. I tell you story after story of what it was like there. The people that I met there, amazing for the different reasons they were there. There was a gentleman who was over 400, he was probably 350 pounds, and he'd have to come to the sauna program in the evening. He worked on his daddy's blueberry farm, and he was the one that sprayed the fungicide on blueberries. Blueberries are very fungicided, and fungicide is, again, like a pesticide, but for fungus. So those blueberries get a lot of fungus on them. So you want to make sure you're eating organic blueberries, otherwise you're eating a lot of chemical. And what happened was we would all smell the chemicals coming out of his skin, and no one could stand it. They'd be sick. So he'd have to come after hours in order to detox. So, and then one time, I remember having really bad back pain, and I asked my doctor, I said, Dr. Lieberman, I said, why is my back hurt? I can't even walk. And he said, did you have an epidural with your children? And I said, I did with Becky. Okay, and so that's when they numb you during childbirth. And he said, it's coming out. Becky was 7. That's only 7 years. You can have stuff buried in your body for 30 or 40. All of you do, you know? So anyway, I learned a ton. And, you know, and it was one of the ways that I got healthy. And so now I have a sauna in my garage. And I do a sauna or 2 a week. And it's a dry heat sauna. So when people ask me questions, they're like, hey, what about dry heat? What about infrared? What's better? I like dry heat. I like to sweat, and I like to get up a really good sweat. But infrared works too because it's heating your body from the inside out. So it's one way to detox. Okay? Okay, so that's just a little bit about my story and why I got here. I had tons and tons and tons of Candida and obviously had to go gluten-free. Okay? So when we talk about gluten-free, so this is for you. So if you are here today and you have had allergies, fatigue, leaky gut, hormonal issues, libido issues, respiratory, asthma, bronchitis, skin conditions, vaginal yeast disorders, hypoglycemia or hyperglycemia, adrenal thyroid exhaustion, inflammation, Depression, lactose intolerance, diarrhea, gas, bloating, cramps, irritable bowel, anxiety, hyperactivity, attention deficit disorder, autism, sinus problems, muscle weakness, bone pain, white tongue and whitish coating on your tongue, psoriasis, dermatitis, dandruff, itchy skin, diabetes, or any autoimmune imbalance, this is for you. Okay, how many people have something like that or have experienced anything like that? So why go gluten-free? So this is what we're going to talk about today. You're going to learn the secrets to going gluten-free and how your health will change, the connection to Candida, and the brain connection. Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to get healthy, how to feel good, how to lose weight if you want to lose weight, and then I'll show you how to get more. Okay, so that's what we're going to go through today. So first of all, what is gluten? Well, gluten is a protein. Okay, so it's a protein. It's found in wheat, barley, rye, and oats. It's also found in bulgur, durum flour, farina, graham flour, kamut, and salmonella. Okay, so that's where it's semolina. Yes, I said salmonella.
Yeah, I thought
I said salmonella. Was that a Freudian slip?
Yeah, that was
probably.
Yeah.
Semolina. So those are some pastas. So that semolina would be in a pasta. And then you're also going to see it, of course, in crackers, cookies, breads, pastries, pizza. So you're going to find it in our world today. Okay, it seems to be a staple, and yet, you know, man didn't grow up on wheat. You know, we were hunters and gatherers. So we were hunting, we were eating meat, and we were gathering berries and things that you could find in the wild. And so this is all new. We've created this problem, so to speak. And wheat-free is not necessarily gluten-free. So gluten could be rye, it can be spelt, it can be kamut. So wheat-free is not necessarily gluten-free. So if you're reading things at the store, you're reading labels, don't get those confused. Okay? Now, celiac disease, how many people know what celiac is? They've probably heard about that. Yeah, so celiac disease is where you can't digest wheat, and it causes leaky gut. And yet the cause of celiac disease is protozoa. So I have helped so many people with a little Hannah Kroger protozoa kit get rid of celiac disease and even be able to eat some wheat. Not that I'm an advocate of wheat or gluten, but they can. Okay? So after you get rid of the protozoa. Protozoa is a single cell parasite, so we'll talk about parasites again too. And this is just Hannah's little kit called the protozoa kit. And it works on that. So
And Louise, for some of these folks, how are we getting protozoa?
good question. So how are we getting protozoa? So protozoa is a single cell parasite. It's in our water, it's in our food. Even if I'm eating like organic carrots or celery and I don't wash them well enough, it's very possible I might get some protozoans. Now, if you think about protozoa, and some of you may have traveled to Mexico, or you have friends who've went to Mexico and they got sick down there from drinking the water or something, they got a protozoan infection. So I would almost say to you, if you're going to be traveling and, you know, going to Mexico for a month, or you were concerned about being down there, I would send you with the protozoa kit. I'd say take this with. Take it, get it out of your body right away before it makes you sick. You know, so that's what a protozoan is. And I see them so often, it's so common that I almost feel like I could stand at the door and hand that kit out and I'd be helping people without even testing them, without even meeting them. It wouldn't hurt to do that kit.
I just was reading in my kit, 10 drops a day, twice a day. So how long do the bottles last?
About a month.
About a month.
About a month. And Hannah taught us with protozoa that you need to go through maybe 2 kits many times for an infection, and it's 2 moon cycles.
How do you know you have protozoa?
I use my biofeedback programs, so I test it that way. Okay, good question though. How do you know you have protozoa?
Because I've had a parasite thing from India.
Right, and so, you know, you're going to have indigestion. People with protozoa go back and forth between diarrhea and constipation. or they'll have one or the other. Okay, you might have brain fog. Sometimes it comes out on the skin, and you can also sometimes see on the bottom of the feet. You'll see a gray area or a darkened area on the bottom of your feet. But protozoa can cause all these things. Cysts along the bony structure of the body, bone, spurs, joint and muscle pain, pencil-thin stools, ulcers, inflammation and swelling, sores, papular lesions, itchy dermatitis, eczema, asthma, Bell's palsy, chronic bronchitis, colitis, Crohn's disease, degenerative muscle diseases, diabetes, elevated white blood count, hepatitis, Hodgkin's, leukemia, lymphoma, psoriasis, pyorrhea, tumors of the brain or head, Parkinson's disease, Paget's disease, scleroderma. And besides causing many different illnesses, they give off toxic wastes such as ammonia, fatty acid, lactate, pyruvate, and carbon dioxide. While treating a protozoa infection, stay away from white potatoes, eggplant, tomatoes, and red pepper. Okay? And you can often see something on the bottom of the feet. Here it will be gray. Now I have one client who actually has, she's doing the protozoa kit right now, and she has bad sores that are almost like welts on the bottom of her feet, and they were right there. And she didn't know what they were. And she's been putting stuff on her feet for years, and they are finally going away. And she's only just done one protozoa kit, she's going to do another. Okay? So a lot of times I find that as an underlying cause of things that, nobody's figured out. In fact, I would even say to you, as we get into these books today, that Dr. David Perlmutter, who's talking about brain and how grains can affect your brain, which we'll get into, just wrote The Brain Maker. He's talking about the good bacteria in the gut and mentions bad bugs too, like parasites, but not the protozoa and the way Hannah taught us about the protozoa kit. And when I think about that gift of what she put together in her book and what I've learned from that, I'm in awe. I'm still in awe. So gluten-free foods. So what are gluten-free foods? Okay, so if you were at the store and you were looking for gluten-free foods, and many of you said, hey, you know what, I'm sugar-free, I'm gluten-free, but I know I cheat, right? Or I want to cheat. Or I do this sometimes and I'm pretending that I am. Or whatever we all say about that. And that's because we live in America. And in America, the way that they even store wheat, even organic wheat, is in big silos. And it gets mold in it and mycotoxins. So when you're eating wheat, you're eating mold oftentimes. And so it has a reaction in your body. So what I hear from a lot of my clients is when they go to Europe, they can eat the wheat.
Really?
That it isn't as offensive to them, that they don't get the stomach aches, they don't get the cramps, they feel better over there on some of the foods. They also don't have as much GMO food over there, okay, genetically modified. So we'll talk about that. So here's a list of gluten-free foods. Fruits and vegetables, meats, but you got to be careful with fried meats, because if you have fried chicken, the batter is going to be probably made with wheat or gluten. Legumes, organic dairy products, if you can have dairy, rice, quinoa, millet, teff. I find that blue corn, if you're going to have corn, is a lot healthier than the yellow corn. It has more protein in it. And you always want to do organic corn because corn is genetically modified. And so genetically modified foods have Roundup in them. And Roundup is Agent Orange. Okay? It's a herbicide. And so it's actually put in the foods. And when you eat that, you're causing leaky gut. So genetically modified foods are corn, all forms of corn. Corn syrup, corn oil, corn chips, corn tortillas. Cotton and the oil is also GMO'd. Okay? Canola, read the labels. Soy, sugar from sugar beets, Hawaiian pineapple, yellow squash, alfalfa, and zucchini are all genetically modified. Okay? So be careful when you're out, if you're going out to eat or you're shopping, look for organic. So gluten-free food. So basically it's kind of like the fruits, the vegetables, the meats, and the dairy. So when you think about shopping, it's the outside aisles of your grocery store. The inside aisles have all the box goods, all the flour, all the cookies, all the junk. Okay? And that's for natural grocers too. If you think about any natural grocery store that you might shop at, the outside aisles, start thinking, I'm going to do what great grandma did. Right? I'm going to eat the way great grandma did.
The home.
Okay, so the comment was good question was how do you eat healthy if you don't
Yeah.
have time to cook?
An orange, all you have to do is pick it up and peel it and eat it.
Yeah, you have to eat whole foods and you're thinking simple. Simple. So we eat simple. You know, we're gonna cook some chicken or some turkey. And if I cook a turkey breast and I have turkey breast for dinner one day and I put some green beans and I steam the green beans and we already have salad made in a bowl. You know, I can grab the salad. You know, I can put some pumpkin seeds on the salad. So I'm thinking, what meat can I have? What vegetable can I have? And I always do 50% raw with 50% cooked. Because 50% raw is where your enzymes are. So I'm going to have a salad. I'm going to have some cucumbers. I'm going to have some celery sticks next to that protein. Your meat, your fish, whatever it is. And then I make salad in a bowl, and I have it all made already. And I put a little piece of paper towel on top so it soaks up some of the water so it stays fresher longer. And I grab that salad and I put it in my lunchbox and put my salad dressing on, and that's what and I make my own salad dressing with sesame oil and some herbs that I can tell you to put in there because it makes a complete good omega oil that feeds your skin. So you want to think simple. You want to do it easy. But wheat, so here's what happens with wheat and the brain. Okay? So wheat effects can show up as difficulty concentrating, behavior outbursts in kids, anxiety, rage, mania, and depression. It can lead to treating the effects of a bran muffin, chocolate chip cookie with psychoactive drugs, psychotherapy, counseling, even institutionalization. So wheat disrupts families, relationships, marriages, careers, everything. Is the gut. Your gut and your brain are connected. So we have more neurotransmitters in our gut than we do our brain. Everything is about this. Okay? So if she wasn't giving him foods and probiotics and things that are going to create the good bacteria in the colon, even staying away from wheat and dairy and sugar and whatever else, but you're not implanting the good stuff, you're not going to get the result. About the Brain Maker, and it's Dr. David Perlmutter's second book. And so his first one was called Grain Brain. And so he was connecting grains to brain issues. And again, I have seen this over and over again with clients, and then of course with Danny was the very first time I saw this way back in my 20s. You know, and now I could tell you story after story of clients that I work with when we take them off of wheat and gluten, the changes that occur in their brain, and I see the brain on the computer. So see, I see the results on my biofeedback program. So it's kind of like having a date with your body. When I think about how many bodies I know, like I can look around the room right now and I go, oh yeah, I know you, I know you, I know you, I know you, I know, but I know you intimately. I don't even know how to explain that to the world out there, but I do. So it is about this. So we're going to talk about how we can help that. So if you saw, we just listened to Dr. David Perlmutter, and if you haven't looked that up for people out there in video land, look up or Google Dr. David Perlmutter, and he has some short little videos that you can watch on what gluten does to your brain and the connection. So it's very good, and I recommend his book as well. And inflammation is the cause of all disease. And what happens is they raise the blood sugar. So if you think about what it is when you eat grains, whether it's gluten or whether it's corn or whether it's a potatoes, even something starchy, it's going to raise your blood sugar. And blood sugar is now being connected with Alzheimer's. So the blood sugar raising, and of course diabetes, which is so common in our world today. But it's really related to our diet. So I would say to all of you, if you're thinking about going gluten-free, you want to think about fruits, vegetables, meats, and if you can have dairy. Often people who can't have dairy can have some organic yogurt. So I can muscle test you on that. I've done that before. So many of you, I bet, could have organic Greek yogurt, even if you can't drink milk or have ice cream, or have cheese. Okay? You know, but I also am good at asking questions, so I would ask you, what do you crave? Because we crave what we're allergic to. So when people are craving wheat, and if you think about America, you have your Wheaties for breakfast, you have your sandwich for lunch, you have your pasta for dinner. And what you're doing and what wheat does in the body is it acts just like you're an alcoholic. You crave it because it's acting like an opiate in the brain and it's bringing you back up. And so what happens with those wheat allergies and people who are sensitive to wheat often are craving it. You know, so we crave what we're allergic to. So what happens with gluten and carbs is they increase candida and inflammation. The enzyme called DPP4 actually breaks down gluten and casein in milk. And if gluten is only partially broken down, those partial proteins can mimic opiates in the brain. And that's why you crave it again. You gotta have your wheat crackers for a snack. So you'll feel spacey or intoxicated, and this creates craving and addiction to wheat and dairy. And the research shows that it actually takes 3 weeks to get casein out of the system, but 3 months to get gluten out of the system. So, and that was Dr. Kenneth Bach did that research. So he found that when he took kids who had different, whether they had autism, ADD, asthma, or allergies, and took them off of wheat and gluten and dairy, and did the testing, it took that long. It took 3 months to get every little part of gluten out of the body. 3 months. So how are gluten and candida connected? Well, candidiasis. So someone asked earlier, what is candida? It's called candidiasis is the actual medical term. And candidiasis is yeast overgrowth, and it can be found in any part of the body. So of course it starts in the intestines, and now we know our intestines, bless you, is connected to the brain. So the brain fog and the stuff that you have is really because of this, not because of your brain. It's connected, okay? Now if you took your colon and you stretched it out, it would be as long as a tennis court. And just like every other part of your body, there's different places in your colon that are related to different organ systems. So if you think, okay, the pictures of anatomy where you've got your colon all kinked in there, well, wherever it's twisted, or maybe there's a polyp here, or there's a pocket of old food stuff there, maybe that's on your kidney point, okay? Or maybe that's on your hypothalamus, or maybe that's on the adrenal point, or your big toe, or your eyes. So again, the health of the colon is the health of the whole body, just like when you think that every tooth is connected to different parts of your system. You can have acupuncture done on your ear, and the acupuncturist who knows that technique will know that this part of the ear is connected to your small intestine, and they'll put the needle in there, right? We're whole people, so we can't disconnect our whole body from ourselves. So gluten, what it does is it turns to sugar, and then sugar feeds candida, okay? And it acts like an opiate in the brain. But candida attaches to heavy metals. So if you have high levels of lead in the body, and kids with ADD often have this, and Hannah has a kit for that. Actually, Sylvia, would you mind getting that? It's called a New Light Kit. So what Hannah found even years and years ago is that kids with attention deficit have too much lead. And so that's a picture of Hannah Kroger. And we'll see her book here in a minute. Her book is called Help One Another, and she was the grandmother of natural health, and she was brilliant. And she found out a lot of this stuff years and years ago. And so these old-fashioned ways of treating with homeopathy and herbs work, okay? And I know that's why you're all here today. And I also know that's why the medical doctors like David Perlmutter is now, instead of giving drugs, he's starting to give probiotics to treat psychiatric disorders because of the gut and the brain relationship. So Hannah had a New Light Kit, which was for ADD. And in it is plumbum, which takes out lead, okay? A New Light Remedy, which is for lead, chemicals, minerals, kind of just a whole mix of things. And then there's a tea, and the tea is Birthright Tea to help any birth disorder. Okay? Now, parasites can exist along with Candida. We talked about protozoa. So you'll often see parasites with Candida. You're not going to see Candida alone. There's a picture of Hannah. That was, I guess, one of our Hannah classes. So again, this is Hannah's book. And in Hannah's class, and I'm not going to teach one this year, this fall. I may do one next year. And I welcome you. You guys could learn so much. If you know, it's just amazing. What you learn is you learn how to douse her book and how to figure out what it is you need, you or your family. And so she looked at 7 causes of ill health: neglect, trauma, congestion, environmental toxins, parasites, infection, and miasms. Okay, and when you can look at that as a whole, you can figure out exactly what's going on in somebody's body. It's pretty cool. So what are the bad bugs? Well, the bad bugs are parasites, protozoa, bacteria, fungus, viruses. This is a liver fluke. This is a tapeworm. This is a protozoan. This is a protozoan nest. This is a hookworm, and this is a pinworm. Okay, hookworms are the only worms with teeth. They eat like gallons of blood a day. So if you have anemia or you're feeling really weak, you can have a hookworm. Okay, and again, no one's clean. We're all got something. Okay, so we can't, you know, I don't even know if we can be completely clean. We are host to other organisms. So we have some bacteria, we have some of this. It's about keeping the majority of the icky stuff out.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank
so the brain connection, so the overgrowth of Candida affects clarity of thought. It can create brain fog. The gut is really called the second brain, and 90% of the amount of serotonin is manufactured in the body in the nerve cells of the gut. Isn't that fascinating? So serotonin is that feel-good hormone, okay? And so that is, when we're giving antidepressant drugs, we're really giving people antidepressant drugs because we haven't treated the gut properly, okay? So that's really what's happening. So here's the gut-brain connection. So there's the gut and there's the brain. Look, I know this sounds a bit crazy, baby, but I feel like we have a real connection here. They always say, trust your gut's feelings.
Yeah.
So celiac disease. So this was a young woman who came to me. She had celiac since the age of 7. And then she had endometriosis. She had gone from doctor to doctor, lots of specialists. It was a protozoa kit in 3 biofeedback sessions, and she was better. It was amazing. She had more joy. Everything changed. And she actually can now eat some gluten. So about 20% of the time she can eat gluten. This was a woman that I worked with all long distance. She had a son. I worked with her to do some coaching, and then her son had ADHD, and so we worked on her son long distance, and she lives in Washington. I never met her son. He was pretty ADD, though. He was pretty wild and had a lot of problems in school and was getting into trouble. He was about 6, and I could tell that he was almost running the house. You know, he was running the whole household. And worked with him, and it was all long distance. It was just, gosh, I don't even know. It was probably 3 or 4 sessions. And what I did is my combination technique. And so what I mean by that is I was working on my brain technique with him. And the brain technique is looking at all the pieces. It's looking at the body. It's looking at releasing stuff. So B is for body. R is for release. This is on your handout. A is for aligning with spirit. I is for integrate, so integrating, and N is for putting in a new program. And so what I've discovered, and the reason why a lot of you have tried Candida diets, and you've tried to go gluten-free, and you've tried to take products, and you've gone to colonics, and you've done all that, and you still don't have the result, is because we're not doing the whole picture. And the whole picture has to be the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, and the energy field. Because stuff starts in the field. So if we're not looking at all of those pieces together, then you won't have the result. And I did that. I did all the physical stuff and wasn't better, you know, and kept seeking. And so this is how this whole program kind of came together. Here's a woman before and after gluten. Took gluten out, she lost all the weight. So is it worth it? Absolutely. You can feel more energetic, you'll be happier, you'll starve the Candida. You'll have better brain power, you'll have less allergies, your gut will be happy, you can balance cortisol. So cortisol is increased and aggravated by gluten. And cortisol is what's made in the adrenal gland that creates that fight-flight kind of thing that's going on. So when we have panic attacks, or we get hyper, or we get the fatigue that happens at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon where we have to have that Snickers bar, right, to boost your blood sugar, it's because the adrenals are stressed and they're working too hard. And to balance them completely, it's partly diet and good bacteria in the colon. Balanced blood sugar. So Dr. Perlmutter talks all about this now, and how they find that inflammation is causing the blood sugar to rise as well. This was interesting. He said all of the mitochondria DNA is inherited solely from the female lineage. During reproduction, while the nuclear DNA of the sperm joins with that of the egg, the male's mitochondria are excluded. Think of it. Mitochondria, the source of energy to sustain our lives, are the embodiment of a purely female genetic code. This concept has prompted scientists to conceive of the mitochondrial Eve, the first human mother from whom all humans have derived some of their mitochondria DNA. Mitochondria Eve is thought to have lived some 170,000 years ago in East Africa at a time when Homo sapiens was developing as a species separate from other animals. So when you consider the fact that bacteria were the planet's original inhabitants, it's no surprise that by the time humans came along, multicellular organisms had long since forged a symbiotic relationship with many bacteria, some of which eventually landed within our own cells to establish a third dimension in our genetic fingerprint. So females are the dominant species on the planet. And now we know where it comes from. So how do you find out if you have Candida? On the back of your handout, there's a saliva test. Put a cup of water near your bed, spit in the water in the morning before you brush your teeth. If you get strings or legs or cloudy specks, or it sinks to the bottom, you probably have Candida. Okay? Healthy saliva would float at the top. There's a young boy's rash. There's a fingers. Picture of moist cells of Candida, diaper rash, and Candida or thrush in the mouth. This is a cryptococcus on the forearm of an adult male, and the tinea versicolor, the lesions in a dark-skinned individual. So those skin things, that's Candida. So we need the good bugs, okay? So we need the good bugs. And the best good bugs are not, well, let me just say this. All probiotics are not created equal, okay? And it's not about how many billions of bifidobacteria or acidophilus or the different strains that are in there. It's more about, do they get delivered and do they survive your saliva and get where they're supposed to go, okay? And so we have 3 probiotics and I love them. I also put frequencies in all my product. What I often find with people is sometimes they don't need as much because it's stronger and it's the delivery system. So the probiotic daily, when I muscle test people on different probiotic products, I often find that they need 6 of what they brought in and 1 of these. So if you actually do the math, it's less expensive, you know, it's cheaper. It's more affordable. I'm looking for that for you only because my story too is, you know, I did probiotics that were $84 a bottle. Okay, and it was a really good one, and I'm really glad I did it. I don't think I'd be here, you know, all the stuff that I had to do to change my health around. But if we can find a way where we can have a good one, you know, be cost effective, and we can get you on the good foods that are going to help you, that's going to make a difference. That's going to make a difference. I also have a dental probiotic, and I can't tell you, I love that one as well. that has helped so many people with gum issues. Gum issues are often amoebas or protozoa. So if you've got that going on, you want to try the dental probiotic if you've got stuff going on. The other one that I love is probiotic ear, nose, and throat. My little autistic guy is on this, and it's amazing what's happened with him. So he doesn't get the sinus stuff or anything too. So where can you find the good bugs? Fermented foods such as sauerkraut, cultured vegetables, kefir, yogurt, kombucha. We would have cultured vegetable parties in my house, and then we did one at Vitamin Cottage about, I don't know, 6 or 8 months ago, where we would make, and there's some for you to try, we would make it's like a sauerkraut, okay, with cabbage. There's also something called the prebiotics, so you want to write these down and keep these in your diet, because these will help make the good bacteria. So it's raw chicory root, Jerusalem artichoke, raw garlic, raw onions or cooked onions, leeks, jicama, Mexican yams, raw dandelion greens, and raw asparagus.
The prebiotics, that's really helpful.
So the prebiotics is what also are the foods that help make the good probiotic. So we want to eat more of those. And of course, those are, that's a specific list. But I would also just say to you, vegetables. Vegetables, vegetables, vegetables. I don't think any of us, including myself, eat enough vegetables today. So what are the benefits of taking a probiotic? They aid digestion, they heal leaky gut, they increase the absorption of minerals, especially calcium, they lower cholesterol, they destroy free radicals, they act on the H. pylori, they control yeast, they produce natural probiotic or antibiotics, they produce B vitamins, they aid the immune response, they control the pH of the intestine, they act as an anti-carcinogenic factors with powerful anti-tumor potential. So your gut health is directly related to your brain. And there is a recipe on my blog and also a video about cultured vegetables that you can look up on beautifulbalancedbrain.com. So you guys can go there and look that up if you like. I talked about the probiotics. So someone also asked me, they said, well, I have cabinets full of supplements. Which ones do I need? And then I also have people bring in shopping bags for their first appointment of everything that they take. And they're like, I got so much stuff in my cabinet, I don't know what I really, really do need. And so I always call the basics minerals, fish oil, and probiotics. You all need those three. Okay? Even those three took asthma away in a little boy that I work with. So those are the basics. Above and beyond that, if you're healing leaky gut, you want to probably be doing a digestive enzyme, a good enzyme. Yes.
Do you have just brief information? So we have Candida and parasites in our gut, and they produce mycotoxins.
Yes.
These are leaking. If we have a healthy gut, maybe it won't affect us as much.
Right.
But can you tell us the effect of mycotoxins on organ function and on brain function? Do you have a little info
blurb
on that out there?
I can tell you, because I experienced it, and yes, and so mycotoxins is what's coming off of, it's called acetaldehydes, okay, and it ends up like an ethanol. It's like a gas, okay, kind of like what I talked about with protozoa. Protozoa gives off ammonias in the body. So they're the toxins that are created within the system, not a toxin like you're breathing the outside air. So that's what a mycotoxin is. And it's because we're toxic here. But those mycotoxins can affect anything, and it's going to be different in different people. Some people will get the brain fog, and it will affect the brain more. Other people, it might go to the lung, and they'll have more asthma kind of stuff. So it's going to affect different people differently in different organs. What I like to do, and many of you who know my work, is I understand the emotional, spiritual, energy field caused to those organs that are being affected. So I would be looking at, is there an issue, either ancestral also or a field program that's affecting your lungs or your brain or whatever it is. Let me give you an example. So I do a thing called brain soul balancing, where I'm looking at the different issues that are in the energy field that have affected the brain that have to do with soul connections. So I had a lady who came and she wanted a nutritional appointment, and she had had lung cancer that went into the brain. And she shared with me that she had 13 brain tumors. And they had done a medical procedure where they zapped with chemotherapy her brain. And when they described it to me, I felt like it was completely barbaric. I mean, it was hard for me even just to listen to it. Her cousin brought her for the appointment. And they had shared with me that she could not remember who she was, and for weeks they had to take care of her and get her back. And what was interesting is she did get enough brain power back to do this exercise with me. So I had her hooked up to the biofeedback program, and there were 13 strings or connections to soul level issues that had occurred in her life. She had a difficult life with a mother. Her mother was hard to live with. And other things, divorce and other things that had happened in her life. And we had cleared this energy, and she was lighter and left better on all those strings. When she left, I figured out that 13 strings, I counted them, she had 13 brain tumors.
Oh, wow.
Each one of those strings was a tumor. That's the energetic field piece that's missing in all of this.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I can give you story after story on myself too. And I can sell you all kinds of products and they're going to help you. I already know that. But it isn't going to get you where you want to go completely unless we do the whole thing. So mycotoxins, yes, they're formed by the die-off. It's called die-off of the Candida. And if you're on a Candida cleanse, you can experience die-off. And you might feel like you have the flu, like you've got brain fog, and you won't feel good. And some people go, I'm not going to take this anymore because it's making me sick. And I'm going, no, it's making you well, it's detoxing you. Let's see if we should slow it down or speed it up. Okay? So, and I had bad migraines and die off from all this stuff too, so I've lived it, I've been there. So anyway, yes.
And the right name to call that is Hirschsprung's reaction. How do
No,
you say
hi, I can't say it right now.
Or you could just say
Herxheimer. It's a Herx reaction.
But that definitely lets you know you have Candida if
Yes.
you potentially start feeling worse before you feel better.
Yes, absolutely. That would be a sign. You know, and so I always tell people, you're going to feel worse before you get better. That's all good, right? So enzymes, L-glutamine is another thing that helps heal leaky gut. And I would always, on a Candida cleanse, give them a metal cleanse at the same time. So whether it's Hannah Kruger's Metalax or some chlorella or whatever they test for, but we want to get the metal out that's causing that Candida to come in the first place. Okay, so we got to do both at the same time. Minerals are hugely important. Okay, when water can't enter the cells, they dry up and they don't function properly. So the rule of thumb on water even is you're supposed to drink half your weight in ounces of water a day. Half your weight in ounces of water a day. Magnesium and potassium are needed to hydrate and help detoxify. The mineral that most people are low in is magnesium on the planet. On the planet. We all need more magnesium. Although it's not absorbed through the gut as well as it is through the skin. So I found a magnesium lotion that I like that Dr. Shealy talks about because we absorb it. In 6 weeks he found the levels got up in the blood where it took almost a year if you're taking capsules. So the form of minerals matters too. How do they get absorbed? So everything is about that gut getting in absorption. Most people have too much water in the interstitial spaces between the cells and not inside the cells. Okay, and there's something that we can use for that as well. And we eat too much table salt rather than the good salt. So good salt would be a carrot and celery juice. Celery is wonderful, organic, good minerals.
You get minerals from celery?
Mm-hmm. Celery juice is amazing. So beets too are really good for you. Beets help the liver. But I like cucumber, celery, cayenne pepper, and lemon. That recipe was given to me by a gentleman who had diabetes that went down to the Gerson Clinic, and that was their dinner. Okay, and the Gerson Clinic is where they detox you, and you do colonics and everything so that you can get, off your insulin and get healthy. And he did. He did, but he came back, and now he's eating normally again, and now he's on insulin again.
Would you go over that list again, please?
The juice one?
Yes.
So cucumber, celery, cayenne pepper, and lemon. That's an awesome recipe. It's just an awesome
And it
recipe.
was awesome for like a salt substitute.
It's a good yes, because you need the good salt.
Yeah.
You know, we all need minerals. In fact, people are lower in minerals than they are vitamins. Okay, what you're going to find is people are lower in the minerals. That's why I don't even recommend multivitamins. I don't even have them. I don't even carry them. But B vitamins make parasites grow. So you want to stay off the B vitamins when you're on a parasite cleanse. So they'll make parasites grow. Another wonderful way to detox is a foot detox bath. How many people have done that? You guys done that? Awesome. Awesome. Because that's really easy. You're just sitting with your feet in water. So the water might start like this and it'll end up like that. And it's pulling out all the junk through your feet. So we can detox. It's like detoxing the lymph system. So, and then we have coupons on that. So if you guys want to do a foot bath, please call us. So what to eat and how to shop. You want to eat high quality proteins such as organic grass-fed meats and eggs. Avoid packaged gluten-free choices and opt for whole foods. So, you know, I don't know what happened to that thing that, I was going to pass this around and I didn't do that. I guess I should do that. So, anyway, there's a bunch of new gluten-free restaurants that are opening up. Okay, and that's awesome. I mean, more power to them. Thank God we have those options out there because more and more people are becoming aware of this. But I still want to just help you. I just want to help you see that if you're going to a gluten-free bakery and you're eating rice flour, I cooked a lot with rice flour. Okay, you're still eating carbs. It's still going to increase Candida. And I found this to show you guys. There were no gluten-free cookbooks when I started. And I was telling someone this week about it, so I went in my cabinet and tried to find it. I had a yellow newsletter. That's it. That's all that there was 26 years ago. Okay? Called Mastering Food Allergies. And I would get little recipes from here. And you guys, this was my cookbook. Can you tell? It was pretty used. That's all we had back then. So there's a whole lot more choices today than back then for sure.
Healthy fats. Okay,
So
that's all. Yeah.
the prebiotics you want to put on your grocery list. Probiotics, fermented foods. Now, when I say fermented foods, I just want to couple that with something. Some people who have bad candida cannot do apple cider vinegar even though it's good for you. Okay? Everyone's different. So again, I muscle test and check that out. But everybody is different. You want to do low carb, gluten-free foods, and healthy fats are important too. This was a woman who had Lyme disease. We got it gone in a month with frequency. It was amazing. We were both surprised. I didn't know that she had our blood tested with Dr. Glenn Wilcox, and then a month later she had done 4 sessions of sounds, listening to the sounds to get the frequency to help with Babesia, and then she went for another blood test and it was gone. And we were pretty surprised. And then there was another woman I did, this was actually a group coaching call. I did an ancestral clearing, and she said, I felt like all the known and more so the unknown excuses or blockages to moving forward were being lifted from my energy field. So what I have for you actually, and what I wanted to offer you today, was an opportunity to actually detox with support. Because I thought, gosh, so many people that I've heard have not had the support that they need. And I was trying to figure out how to make that happen. And I thought about like my coaching clients who I've worked with for 3 months at a time. And I thought, okay, let's design this then. And so if you want to get rid of that nagging candida, that brain fog, the weight, the allergies for good, I can guarantee results. I already know this is going to happen for you. What it is it's 5 one-hour coaching sessions. So it's 5 coaching sessions. So you're on the phone with me, and the value is about $1,500. And then I wanted to put some bonuses in there too. And so what will happen is, besides the coaching sessions, I wanted to do what I've done with my coaching clients. is use the biofeedback program. And I thought, just like the Brain Boosters group, just like the other groups, we can zap Candida as a group. So I can send frequency to help zap that stuff and get the layers of that down, just like I did for Linda with Babesia, just like I do for all my clients, and get the layers of that Candida down, just like I did for Heather, and help you. And so here's what I have for you. I think I have a handout on my hand. So what it is that it's 3 months, the little bonuses are 3 months of Candida zapping. And then for 3 months you get 10% off of any Candida products, because I want you to have the right things that are going to work for you. Okay? So we figure that out. And the first 5 people that sign up get a free session with me. So it's 5 hours, 3 months, unlimited email support, 10% off of all the Candida products to get you where you want to go. Because what I know and what I hear from my clients is fall is hard. It's Halloween, it's Thanksgiving, it's Christmas, right? So in order to reach your goal, so if you want more and you're serious about getting rid of that Candida and feeling good again, we're going to do my whole signature program. Which means, and here's how I know I can guarantee the result, is we're going to look at your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and field. So we're going to clear the field programs that are keeping you stuck, that say, I don't know if I can do this. I kind of am Candida, I'm kind of gluten free and I'm kind of sugar free, but I'm not really. That stuff. You know, I want to get rid of that stuff and move it forward. Okay? So questions that I hear is, it's bad timing. What are you waiting for? You're going to keep struggling. So if you do have an issue and this is calling to you, you'll keep, you have to decide. And basically what I want to help you do is just decide what's right for you. I'm not saying this is, it's whatever, it's for you. It's what's going to be for you. I don't trust myself to do the work. I hear that a lot too. Okay? So what I'm looking at is the reason why I think this works for so many people and I've had results, again, and it was my own path, is because we're doing the field work. We're doing the field work, and the stuff that gets stuck in the brain that says, nope, I don't deserve it, I can't do it, I'm going to have that cookie, or whatever you're saying to yourself. So I like to look at that with people and help them release that. Because if we don't release that, we're not going to get the result. And how many of you have gone to the store or gone to the chiropractor or wherever you've gone and you bought your Candida remedy and you take it for 3 weeks and you stop? We don't fall through. It's human nature. Unless you're as sick as I was and you just want to be a mom to your kids again and you have a why. And so I help you find your why. Your motivation really helps. So if you've tried other programs and bought supplements and gadgets and special foods and you didn't achieve your goal, were the products right for you? That I don't know, and the only reason I know this and I can say this to you again is because I did all this. I went through this. And now I'm just picky about making sure you get what you need, whether it's this program or not. I just want you to get what you need for you, that it's going to work for you. How many times have you spent, well, I guess I should say for any health issue. You guys are all here today, so I want to honor you, and that's why I'm giving you a deal on this. But for any health issue, what I hear people often say, if you think about it, we're going to spend more at the doctor's office on surgery or problems later. And when I think about the numbers of people, and I don't remember the statistics, but it's in his book, of what we spend for depression medication and for Alzheimer's today, when the answer is in the gut. It's here. If we take care of that, So if you're frustrated or tired and you're like, hey, I need to do something about this, take that action step, whatever that is for you. Okay?